Hello everybody and welcome to another Twilight Zone review. Today it is Season 2, Episode 1722, written by Rod Serling and starring Barbara Nichols as Liz Powell. And let me just mention, as I always do, that this is one of the 6 videotaped episodes, but I don't think this episode is as hurt from the videotaping as some others, because it gives the episode kind of a creepy B-movie feel, which does fit the episode well. Unfortunately, this episode does have a few problems which hurt it, but it's still okay overall. So we start with our main character, Liz, who's in the hospital, and she's in her bed and she's hearing noises, and she appears to be very nervous. So she gets out of bed following the noises. She walks down the hall, gets in an elevator, which takes her to another floor of the hospital. And she sees a door that says morgue on it, and above it is the number 22. So the morgue is room number 22. She approaches the doors, and a very scary, creepy looking nurse comes out, tells her something about room for one more. And Liz freaks out at this point, and we get the opening narration from Rod Serling, who says that Liz is having a nightmare, basically. But is she? Well, we'll find out. So the next day, her agent, I believe, Barney, comes to visit, and she's telling him what happens, that she really believes they're not dreams, the experience is really happening. So the doctor comes in, and this guy is really creepy and odd as well, and he tells her nothing is wrong with her, she's just overtired and overworked. And he tells her, you're having dreams. And she keeps insisting. She's not really convinced. She still thinks it's something real happening because it happens exactly the same each time. I think she's had this experience like 6 times. I'll just call it an experience because we're not really sure if it's a dream or reality at this point. And that part of the episode's pretty well done. So the doctor says, I'll prove to you, that it is a dream, as he brings in the nurse that, works that shift, and she says that's not the same woman, and he says, well, that's the woman that's here, so that proves it's a dream. She gets really upset about this, and she just doesn't really seem convinced. So everybody leaves, we go back to nighttime, and Liz is nervous again, and she has the same exact experience again. And I'm not going to go over the whole thing again, but it plays out pretty much exactly the same way. And Liz ends up in her room freaking out again after she sees the very creepy looking nurse. So then we go to another scene when we get to the next day. And the doctor is talking about how he wonders how this woman, Liz, would know about room 22 being a morgue because patients wouldn't be allowed down there and she would have never seen it. But this is where the episode starts getting a little strange because this is never explored any further. When we get to the next scene, we find out Liz is leaving. She's feeling better. And the doctor, says goodbye. He tells her he doesn't want to see her back there. But he still seems to think it was a dream, the way I interpret it. And that varies with the opinion that it seemed like he was questioning things the scene before. So I thought that was an odd bit of writing and direction there that didn't totally make sense. But anyway, we go to the next scene where Liz is at the airport and she's got her plane ticket. She's going back to wherever she's from. And everything's fine until she finds out that she is on flight number 22. This 22 obviously corresponds with the 22 that was above the morgue she saw. So she feels this was some kind of, warning to her, and she gets an uneasy feeling. And I think this is overplayed just a little bit. It goes on a few minutes too long, and Liz really gets pretty worked up about this. It just doesn't totally work. But anyway, things do get a little better from there, in my opinion. She does decide to go on the flight, and as she's walking up the ramp, to get on the flight, she sees the same woman that says the same thing, room for one more. The stewardess is the same woman that was the nurse from her dreams. So she completely flips out and runs back inside. She does not get on the plane. And a few minutes later, we find that the plane, something was wrong with it, and it blows up. So basically, Liz saved herself. So she did have some kind of experience, whether it was a dream or whether it was a reality, they never really say for sure. I guess we're just supposed to call it like a premonition type thing, which is fine. The episode has its ups and downs. It's a little slow. We actually see the same exact dream twice, which I don't know if we really needed that. It adds to the effect, but it's also a little bit strange. And in one way, the videotaping helps the episode, like I said, giving it that creepy quality. But it would have been interesting to see this episode filmed like a normal Twilight Zone episode, because I think they could have done even more with the atmosphere. That some of the scenery and things just aren't as convincing with the limitations of the videotaped episodes. The acting is okay, it's kind of hit and miss, and this episode as a whole is very hit and miss. It's creepy, but not everything totally makes sense, and I'm just going to go right down the middle with this one. 22 is watchable, but it's not great, but it's creepy enough. So 2.5 out of 5 for 22, and I would recommend this one if you like old suspense horror. So 2.5 out of 5 for 22. Thanks for watching.